How to fix two problems with your Canon ink tank printer, the G4210. And we're going to fix two problems. The first problem, the problem I've had a lot of times with my printer is if you do this nozzle check, see over here, and you'll see that either one or some of these colors are missing, or maybe all of them are missing, like in my case. So that's the biggest issue that I've had. And this seems to be a big problem with these printers. The second one is this 5200 code, which I've only got once, but the two codes are related. The 5200 code, I believe, is when there's not enough ink in your printer. So I'll show you how to fix those problems. And let me just give a summary, because I'm not been known to be a very TikToker-esque, as they say. So I'll tell you right now. To fix a 5200 code, simply unplug your printer for 10 minutes and plug it back in. I believe that did kind of fix my problem, but then when I went to print again, it was still complaining about, well, when I went to go and do a clean, it complained about having this 5200 problem again, which is not enough ink. I believe it's doing that even if you have ink in your tanks, like I did. I have enough ink in my tanks and had the 5200 problem. There's some kind of error or blockage somewhere. So it's kind of saying, oh, there's no ink coming to your print heads, and here, therefore, we must not have enough ink, therefore here's the 5200 error. So that's what I've just kind of surmised. That's the first thing I can tell you, and that's that works pretty well to stop that error. Now, to fix the error totally, dude, you're going to have to actually do something called an ink flush, which is, I've never heard of that. I've heard of a clean, a deep clean, some kind of something called an ink flush. It was totally new to me. So that's what you got to do. So basically unplug it for 10 minutes, clears the 52, and then do an ink flush. So there you go, guys. On your way, that's all you need to do. All right, for the rest of us mere mortals, as Langsamers, as they say in Deutsch, I'll go through the steps now. So you probably should start out by going to the web page of the support page for this printer, which I did over here. And you have different downloads and da-da-da. There's your printer. You see, there's these stupid little ink tanks. And there's little marks on there, blah, blah, blah. It tells you how full they are. Normally the problems occur with the color, not the black. I don't know why. So let's get the manual, the PDF here, guides and manuals. You'll see the manual is pretty old. You see it's 2018, and it's actually referred to as the 4010 series, even though it's a 4210. So I went to the manual here, and I did a search. The first thing I did was 5200. Where are we here? Okay. Can I just go to the top? Sorry, kind of amateur hour here. The first thing I did was I wanted to do a 5200. I typed in 5200, and bam, it came right up with that, page 418. What to do? It's pretty easy. So it actually explains everything here. Here's the whole explanation of the problem I had. Although I'd never heard of the ink flush before. I had done the cleaning. So it says here, the printer error has occurred, blah, blah, blah. What to do? It says check the remaining ink level. In my case, it was fine. And then refill the ink tank if necessary. Turn it off for 10 minutes, like I said, plug it back in. If the ink tank is refilled, because also if you run out of ink, you get air in there, and that's why you get the error. So you have to do an ink flush. So the ink flush is something you do when you get air in there, not when you have like clogged heads or dirty heads or whatever. I think you need to do that as well. So in my case, this was something totally new to me. In the past, I'd run out of ink and I'd done the print head cleaning, and I don't know, that didn't seem to, it worked okay, but I still wasn't getting super good results with the colors and everything. Whereas this ink flush that I've just discovered, it seems to, all the colors seem to be back to normal like they were when they were new. Okay, so how do you do an ink flush? You can go to the maintenance menu on your printer, and it'll show you how to do it. I was looking at this document here, this PDF, and if I can just go back to see if I could find out how to do an ink flush, and I don't think it actually tells you how to do an ink flush in this PDF, although I couldn't when I was doing a search. Perform step 4, perform an ink flush. It says deep cleaning, blah, 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 blah. It has 8 matches. Indicates amount when performing ink flush. For details to refill the tanks, refilling ink tanks. Is that a different document or something? No. So I couldn't find it here. I don't know, maybe my searching is wrong. So I went back on the interwebs and I found this document. This is an online document, not a PDF. It says performing an ink flush on the 4210. So you start out by making sure your tanks are above this level, your ink tanks are above this level here. And then you just go to the setup menu. And it's pointless me showing this because you can just do this yourself. And you go to maintenance and you hit OK. I mean, the controls on this printer are abysmal. First of all, you can never see the display, right? This like 1980s dot matrix display. No, LCD display. And yeah, they really dropped the ball there. And then you go to click OK, and then you go to maintenance, and you keep on scrolling forward to where you see the ink flush. So the ink flush takes about 9 minutes, it says, to complete, and then you can do your nozzle check, which I guess we could show you how to do that. I mean, you can also do that from the printer driver, or you can do that. I'm on a Mac here, so you can do the when you go to your printer driver, you can actually, your printer has a web page, and you can, I have a password and everything here, you can log into it, and you can actually get it to do some of the stuff. Now you cannot do an ink, flush from the UI. I mean, I can see why, right? Because, you know, some bad state actor manages to hack into your printer and drains all your ink, you know. See, there's deep cleaning, and there is cleaning, right? Regular cleaning, but there is no, and the nozzle check pattern, but there's no ink flush from this web interface. But you can do some other things like printer status and all this other crap. Says, you see, there's my levels. I mean, my yellow, magenta, cyan. My yellow is really low. It's funny, yellow is the only thing that's working in my printer. And that's all there is to it. So I hope that helped you. Like I say, in summary, I've never heard of an ink flush before. The ink flush was the answer to all your printing woes. Now, it does use a lot of ink, so you've got to go and order. I would use Canon ink. There is other ink on the market. I would use Canon ink because if you think about it, the bottles are about $12 each, so I think $35 Best Buy has it. I mean, you get unless you have to do this again, if you make sure you print pages every month, you should be able to not have to do this again. So you may as well get the ink that Canon has, you know, spent hundreds of millions of dollars developing, rather than some little, you know, Chinese factory somewhere that thinks they've, you know, got the chemistry right. Having said that, I do believe these printers, their print heads go eventually, and then you just have to throw the printer away. But, you know, doing the math, if you do a lot of colored printing, like, you know, if you have kids and you want to do photos and photo cards, I mean, we printed a shitload of hundreds and hundreds of photos on this thing, and literally we use maybe a quarter of the ink printing 400, 500 photos. What actually killed all the ink off is doing these multiple cleanings, deep cleanings, and then this ink flush just sucks the ink down like anything. But that's the only way to get it to print. Otherwise, you know, you have a black and white printer, inkjet printer, which is pretty useless, right? So I hope that helped. Sorry for going on, but I haven't seen anything else explaining this silliness on the internet. So hopefully this will help some people out there.